Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Backdoor Banter. My name is Lawrence and I'm with my co-hosts Justin and Edmund. This
What's
is our
up?
very first episode, and we're all a group of mates, and well, specifically myself and Edmund, we're more than mates. I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys figure that out later. We'll share about that later. And we started this podcast to reach a specific audience and share a bit about our experience and also how we can potentially help out the world, as cheesy as that sounds. And we're going to be spending today just telling you about who we are and also why we started this podcast and what to expect in the future. So I think for this first episode, I'll let everyone introduce themselves, right, and what they do. Me being the gentleman I am, I'll let Justin go first, and then we'll go to Edmund and come back to me.
Easy. Thanks, Lawrence. So I'm Justin. I'm a machine learning engineer for my job. I know Lawrence from primary school, actually. We go back quite a while. So like a lot of times, like I think in the car when we've been driving, we were had some nice chats and stuff. So I think talking about just life, that kind of thing, is kind of what this podcast is kind of going to be about. What about you?
Well, I'll introduce myself first. I'm Edmund, and I'm actually Lawrence's brother. So so we are more than just friends. But how I got into this, I didn't. I came to work with them one day, and they talked about podcast planning, and I was like, you know what? Why not just jump in as well?
Yeah,
got roped into it.
We forced him into it. He doesn't actually want to be here right now.
But here I am. And I just wanted to hop on this because I was into self-improvement as well, and I just wanted to like to work on myself. And it's good to spread the word and hopefully connect with like-minded individuals who would potentially listen to this podcast. And back to you, Lawrence.
So if you can't tell by now, I know we've skimmed on top of what this podcast will be about. If you can't tell by now, it will be about self-improvement and giving our perspectives as males growing up without that much of a, I guess, older brother figure. I know Edmund is lucky enough to have an older brother, but I'm not. And us having immigrant parents as well, it's sometimes hard to find that guidance and figure out where we want to go in life. And before we go on that, I'll give a bit of an intro to myself. My name's Lawrence. I work in tech sales as well with my brother, and been getting into self-improvement due to the influence from this circle and others, and felt like it's really helped my life, and have gone through a lot of ruts in my life, and I still go through sometimes, and we want to be able to share that positivity and what we do to help those lost individuals find themselves and become the man that they want to be. And that's I guess we'll dive into how we all got into self-improvement, right?
You mentioned ruts. Was there a specific one that kind of set you off on a journey? Was this kind of always these kind of topics always in your head, improving yourself and everything, or was there a specific moment that kind of happened?
For me, I always knew that I was a capable individual. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not a genius or anything, but at the same time, I knew that I was very capable of doing something great in my life. But I was definitely feeling very lost throughout high school, post-high school, jumped around different degrees, not really knowing what I want to do with my career, and just found myself in dead-end part-time jobs and all that. And I think the biggest rut that I had was around this time when I was unemployed for a good, I think 6 to 8 months, and I wasn't really doing anything with my life. I'm just chilling at home, and it was during COVID as well, so it wasn't that bad, but it was bad because I felt very unproductive and just a fried person, and that's what sort of made me look into self-improvement. And funny thing, Edmund actually introduced me to like meditating and a few influences that has helped him. And then after looking into that, I delved into a rabbit hole, and that's pretty much where it started. And I'll go into more detail, I guess, later on the journey. It's a bit of a slippery slope. It wasn't just a upward trajectory from there. So yeah, that's basically my take on it and why I got into self-improvement.
Wow. I guess kind of like we're following the track then. How did you get into it, and how did you introduce Lawrence to it?
Okay, so so growing up, I was probably like right after I dropped out of uni the first time. I did a Bachelor of Social Work, which is pretty surprising because now that I think back, I question to myself, why did I choose that? I think because of a lack of understanding of what a social worker actually does. Yeah, mad respect to every social worker out there. But yeah, I was just very lost, and then I was stumbled. I would always watch those occasional improvement videos, those quick fixes, or how to fix your life in 10 steps, which usually have no results. Usually because I don't even take the steps to even implement those. But I came across this influencer called Hamza. I was watching and I came across it. I thought he was just going to be another one of those 10-step YouTubers, but he was very raw. And with that, I dabbled into him. I watched him a lot more and just tried to implement the steps in his life, just because he talked about consistency. And I just implement the typical journal, gratitude journaling, meditation. But I'm not perfect. I don't even meditate anymore. At this point, I am trying to get back into it. And that's how I dived into it. And with that, I discovered a lot more other self-improvement YouTubers. With like Luke Belmar and just to name another one. And that's how I got into it, and that's where it started. But I'm still trying to figure it out for myself.
Funny thing, I was the one who suggested you to do social work, eh?
I think so, But I had a very limited understanding of it. I thought it was just I like helping people. Yeah. I like doing the volunteer stuff, but social work is a whole different.
So what were you expecting, and what exactly?
social work? I didn't even know what I was expecting. I think I gaslighted myself to thinking I like helping people, so I'm gonna fucking like this.
Yeah, well, you're actually a dickhead.
Maybe I was I remember I looked into it. Yeah, man, I like helping people, and I was just gaslighting myself. And then I remember we did sociology and stuff in uni, and I just convinced myself, man, this is interesting, man. I like looking at these stats, but inside I was just fuck, I don't actually enjoy this. I don't know if I didn't enjoy social work or I just didn't enjoy uni. I couldn't bring myself to study, and I just which led me to procrastinate a lot, leaving things to the last minute and just getting overwhelmed and failing assignments and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
How old were you when you kind of had that bit that step in your journey?
When I dabbled into self-improvement.
Yeah. When you kind of dropped out.
Yeah, I was 19 or 18. I was 18.
So still very young.
Yeah. I don't think I dabbled into self-improvement until a bit after that.
Yeah.
Until I started getting into it more.
Yeah. So that was still fairly recent because Edmund's only 22 this year. So it was quite recent, and I've definitely seen a big change in you since then. And definitely a lot of growth, and hopefully you found what you wanted to do. But I know you're still very young, and at the same time, life is just so unpredictable. So many things can happen, and I'm glad we can document this, right? Yeah. And what about you, Justin? I don't know, your journey was probably a bit more. It's similar, but also different to us. I know you've dabbled in some other sort of meditative practices that we haven't gotten into. Because we just were either too not too lazy, but maybe we just didn't do enough research and we didn't go too hardcore in the meditation part. So just tell us about it.
I've got a pretty interesting story with self-improvement. So it's been a pretty big part of my life, basically since I was 18. So basically, when I graduated high school, my dad gave me a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And then I was like, what the fuck is this? Well, I need to learn how to make new friends. I want to make some friends at uni. You know, I was pretty pumped to do that. So I read that book and it was like genuinely like mind-blowing. Like, I feel like a lot of people would have been like very basic. It's like smile at people, you know, just be nice kind of thing. But this was like a game changer because I think in high school I was like, didn't really understand about, you know, how to make friends, how to be nice to people. You know, it's like, oh, if you keep making fun of someone and laughing at them, like, they're not going to like you kind of thing. It's like very basic things like that, but it just, you know, it never had a conversation about it, never put the pieces together.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first step into realizing, oh, there's like knowledge out in the world that is actually very like practical, very useful. So that was the main thing for a while, but then, and I just kind of went along, you know, went to uni, did a whole bunch of stuff. But then I hit a point where I kind of was like not doing very well at uni. I was like doing electrical engineering, wasn't interested, was like basically on set to like not do very well, like either like fail a lot of subjects or like get barely pass. And then I was pretty involved in like society stuff as well. But then at some point I just kind of hit a low point where I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on in my life. So at that point I started coming to start to collect myself, like actually figure out, okay, how do I actually plan my day? How do I actually set goals? And then that's kind of when I got a lot deeper into self-improvement. And you know, tried out a lot of different things, switched to computer science, which worked out a lot better, learned to study, that kind of thing. And then it's been a journey of ups and downs ever since, but yeah, it's good.
That's good. And I think we all sort of have like different journeys in this like self-improvement, and we all like reached, I guess, different points at the end. Or we haven't reached the end yet, but let's say we'll take the current state as the end, and we've all of our experiences have sort of differed, right? Like let's take the education part, for example. Like Edmund dropped out, and I guess, would you say you're content with your life right now?
I would say I'm a lot happier now than I was when I was studying.
Exactly. And then, you know, for me, I went to university, but the current job that I work at in textiles, I probably don't even need a degree. I don't use my degree. I majored in marketing, and also I barely passed as well. I'm pretty sure I got a pass average or something, and failed some subjects. And you know, I would say I'm definitely a lot more content with my life, or happier than a couple of years back. And you know, Justin did a STEM degree because he wanted to get into machine learning engineering, and you know, we all are quite content or happy with ourselves compared to, let's say, 3-4 years ago, right? So there's not just like one path that you need to take, and I think like there was a lot of trial and error between all of us, right? Like I tried my best to pass my experiences down to Edmund, but it might not tailor to him. So it just shows that you can definitely reach somewhere that you want to get in life, well, without following just that one dogmatic path to success, I guess.
You've got to find what works for you.
What works for you and stuff, yeah. And yeah, we're constantly trying to improve ourselves every day, and like we want to be able to like document this journey for you guys, and like we don't want to be those people that you listen to on YouTube or Spotify, where you know where they sort of portray their life being 100% perfect, like they're freaking waking up at bloody 6 a.m. every day, going to the gym and not sparing an extra minute. After the gym, they go for a run, cold plunge and all that stuff, then work for like 8 hours straight. We're not trying to portray that. We're just trying to let you guys know that we're not perfect, and we definitely want to capture this.
Because it is a bit of a meme at this point, right?
It is a bit of a meme, yeah.
Oh, get up at 5 a.m. Do your run, do a bit of journaling, meditation.
Exactly.
So what are we doing like differently, I guess, or
Well, like I said, like I still go through ruts here and then, right? Like when it's not, when I don't do something consistently, or I've taken a break from something, I find it pretty hard to get that habit again, right? Like a good example would be like jiu-jitsu, right? So I haven't trained jiu-jitsu as long as you guys, but when I did train quite consistently, and then after taking a break because I had to travel for work, I came back and never came back. It's been a couple of months. So yeah, it's just like that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about, right? But I guess like what we're doing differently would be to like create this community and support each other, and you know, just because you do fuck up, it doesn't mean like you can't bounce back and all that. So.
That's interesting. Did you feel like at some points, like your journey in self-improvement was lonely at all?
I wouldn't say it was lone. Oh, yeah, actually, I changed my mind. Yes, lonely, because there were probably only a few people that I could talk to about these things. Not that I just wasn't comfortable about sharing my flaws in life, but when like the subject of meditation, right? Like maybe you guys can agree. Like when I found out about meditation, I could maybe 5-6 years ago. Like when I first heard about people doing it outside of like monks and yogis and all that, like just regular people. Like I had my impression was not my impression, but I just thought it was quite weird that people meditated, and I guess like after finding the right app and finding the right sort of meditation, mindfulness practices, like I found it like really, really useful, and all this shit makes sense now. But when I try to explain it to people, they react the same way that I did 5 to 6 years ago. So that's why I was a little bit lonely, and I only have like select few people that I'll talk to about meditation too. So yeah, and that's why I thought it was a little bit lonely, but also not super lonely, because there's also like a community like online as well. Yeah, but what about you guys?
I've actually tried to frame meditation in a way to help people. So like, especially because I was hanging around a lot of uni students when I was still in uni, even though I dropped out. But so I would just say, do you feel like you struggle a lot with like focusing?
Yeah.
And then they would be like, yeah, like I can't focus, like I feel like I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't you try meditating? Because then I would explain it to them. Because meditation, it's basically, it helps you focus more, because you would breathe, you would focus on your breath, and you would probably get distracted, and you bring yourself back to the breath, and you do that over and over again. Yeah. And that's the exact same as studying, because you would study and you would get distracted, and you have to bring yourself back, so it would help you focus more. And then I framed it that way, and there was a lot more receptive. They were like, oh really, that's interesting. I don't know if they gave it a go. Yeah. They could have probably just or they could have just thought, this guy's talking shit. But they didn't say that to me. Yeah. So yeah, I always framed it in that way. And then I've never gotten like the person that said like, oh bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah. No one's ever gave me like a harsh review on it. And they've been like, what the fuck is that? I'm never gonna do that.
Yeah. Do you guys ever feel uncomfortable? Like, do you guys ever feel like you're a salesman, or like you're kind of like shilling the meditation practices, or shilling self-improvement advice to people when you're just trying to sort of tell them about it? Because they tend to, my experience is that they tend to have a pushback with the whole meditation. That sounds like some weird, heebie-jeebie stuff, and then you're just trying to like protect the act of meditating, and you're trying to like sell it to them, but then you end up just being this guy trying to like push it down the throat. And I just don't like going through that anymore. And I think that having a platform like this is so much more helpful, because if people want to seek it, like they can find it. But like, do you guys feel comfortable talking to people about meditation anymore? Because I just had like some bad experiences, and just felt like a fucking salesman, you know. Yeah, I am a salesman. Actually,
but you're not getting paid for this.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. It's only like certain people that are interested in like these kinds of topics, like meditation, or like even self-improvement and stuff. I think sometimes it can come off as like weird, or like, don't tell me how to, even if you're just talking about it, it's like, don't tell me how to live my life kind of thing. I think I've had the same experience. If it comes up like organically, it can be a fun chat, but I think oftentimes I'll let the other person bring it up, or I won't really bring it up myself.
I've actually brought it up a few times, but I never really pushed down their throat. Like I would just be like, give it a go, but like you don't have to listen to me. I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck if you do it or not. It's because it's not my life. But definitely with people closer to me, I feel like I have tried to push down their throat a bit. I'm like, oh come on man, give me a go, like come on. Like they'll always be like, oh bro, I can't do this. I'm like, bro, because you're not fucking meditating, man. Like, come on, man. There was like, oh, I'm not like you, man. Like, I wouldn't do this shit.
Different, bro.
I'm not interested in shit like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, fair enough. But in my mind, I'm just like, come on, man, just do it, man. Just do it.
That's interesting. Like, what are your sort of learning styles, and how would you typically make a change, right? Because then, I think that approach is kind of like I guess a David Goggins type approach. Like,
Yeah.
Do it, or you're a pussy. You better fucking meditate, or you better fucking run, and all that stuff. Like, do you guys tend to make change because someone's like being a hard ass on you, and does that motivate you when someone's saying some shit like that? Or would you rather then take a bit more of an empathetic approach and like in terms of, you know, providing you advice and stuff?
I feel like it takes a lot of maturity that sometimes I don't have to kind of like, when someone's being a hard ass,
Yeah.
sometimes they're just right, but
Yeah.
for 100%, I'll be like, I'm going the other way, but I'm not listening.
Yeah.
So if someone's like a lot more empathetic, a lot more like, you know, approach with a bit of EQ, I'm more likely to listen. But I found for myself, the major changes have always been when I hit like a rock bottom, or I run into that problem, and then, this is what, like, maybe like it went in one ear, went out the other, like 2 years ago, and then I run into the actual problem,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, this is what they were talking about, and that's when I change. But
Yeah.
it's rarely when someone tells me to do something,
Mm-hmm.
I won't start doing it straight from that.
Yeah, true.
Me personally, depends who the person is. Because if it's just like, if it's some guy that I don't really know, and he's like, I don't even know who I I have no idea who he is,
Yeah.
he's trying to shove it down my throat, I'll probably be like, oh, fuck this guy. But if it's like David Goggins or something, and someone that I have an idea of who he is,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like look up to,
Yeah.
I guess they can push down my throat and it would work.
Yeah. True. So it's just very subjective on the person, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah, and like I think I agree with both of that as well, because some people don't like they won't make a change until they hit rock bottom, I guess, and for me, I think it's definitely, I try to take a proactive approach a lot of times, but sometimes I think I just need to hit that fucking rock bottom and just like look in the mirror like, what the fuck am I doing with myself? And then that's when that big surge of motivation comes. And for me, like I'm diagnosed with ADHD as well, so it's like pretty, like I tend to like leave shit until like the last minute sometimes, and that's when I get that urgency to, you know, pick up my shit, and then I just do a big fucking sprint of self-improvement shit, you know. So I think I'm definitely trying to be a bit more proactive, but I think that rock bottom thing is probably what resonates with me a little bit more. Yeah. And I guess like we've spoken a lot about meditation, right? Like this is not just a purely meditation podcast, but that's just one aspect of self-improvement that we felt has helped us a lot and helped us like find ourselves. Like we would do like several other things like outside of that, obviously. And why don't we just go into a bit about like what else we do to keep ourselves in the right mind state.
Me personally, what I've done recently, I have a whiteboard in my room, and I would ask myself a few questions at the end of the day. So one of them is my room clean? Because I'm pretty notorious for having a pretty messy room. I still is a bit messy right now. Is my room clean? Am I satisfied with what I did today? Did I learn something new today? And what was the last one? I don't remember what the last one was. But yeah, I just have that, and I question myself. After every day, I would question myself. But yeah, sometimes I would forget because I just forget to question myself. But yeah, that's something that does keep me a bit more grounded, and just having just habits in place.
Yeah. What about you?
So I guess in the areas that we're talking about, meditation is definitely a big one. Apart from that, exercise, having a regular exercise routine, I think one of the biggest game changers for me was having more intention in my life. So I do a lot of journaling now. So like at the daily level, at the weekly level, and then at quarterly, annually, I kind of review what's been going on in my life. What's like, where am I going, where I want to go, kind of just having an honest chat with myself. Because I think if you don't kind of sit down and do that, you're kind of just walking around blindly in life, and you need a bit of direction, and I find that's been one of the biggest game changers for me.
Yeah, you need a goal to work towards, and yeah, you're just blindly living life, and that's what I've done for a good couple of years as well. Like, it doesn't really go anywhere, but just the times when I haven't written down what I wanted to get out of myself in the next 12 months, 24 months, that shit actually started to come to fruition. And I think that's definitely something good. And similarly, that's something that I do, but probably not as in depth as you. Like, I would write down like my goals for the year and what I want to achieve, and then try to put a realistic timeline to it. And I could definitely do more work on that and learn a bit more from you on how to plan that properly. But outside of that, to keep myself sane, exercise definitely would be a big one, right? That's like, whether that's like running, going to the gym. I have been slacking up at the gym a little bit as well, or also like Muay Thai. So I do Muay Thai quite consistently, and I feel like it's definitely helps like just refresh the brain and reset the brain a little bit, especially after like a hard day at work. Going there, just hitting the pads just feels so much better. And I'd say like running as well has definitely improved my mindset a lot and helped me become a little bit more like tolerable to boredom, because you're just fucking running. And it's a little bit boring. So yeah, that's pretty good. And for you guys, like, I know this is the first episode, but I think just to let the audience like know us a little bit better, like what got us into our careers, and how we sort of landed where we are right now.
Yeah, I guess for my journey, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, where I was like doing electrical engineering, didn't really know like what I wanted to do. I would say I'm like pretty happy with my career direction now. Really feel like it's an area that I'm interested in. So machine learning engineering is basically just software engineering but for AI. And it was a real like kind of finding, like I needed to really find it and like figure out what worked for me. So I had started doing like a few like more like programming subjects in electrical engineering, and I found myself like being attracted to that more. And then also just seeing like there was a pretty cool documentary called AlphaGo that was about like AI, and that was like really inspiring. So if I were to give advice to people, just someone younger, or even to my younger self, on how to find a career, it would really be like following like what inspires you, what kind of makes you want to jump up and like take action and like actually excites you to work. And I think rather than like what is like on paper like really good, or like your parents think it's good, that kind of thing, it's whatever that makes you want to like throw yourself in there, rather than like half-assing it, like, I kind of want to do it, kind of don't. Things that just excite you, just run that way. It will be a bit of a journey of like, try this out, and then you follow the next thing, and in my experience, it tends to come together after a little while. What about you?
What pushes me in my journey? So,
yeah, what do you work as now?
Yeah. I work as a
social worker.
No,
social worker. So you came back full sale.
I work in sales. I work as a BDR. So basically, I'm an appointment setter for a SaaS company. And what was the question again? Sorry.
What brought you to what you're doing right now, and what was that journey there?
What brought me to what I was right now? Yeah, I've gone through a few things here. So after social work, I just worked in a warehouse, just enjoying my life there, not much stress. And then yeah, and then I went into sports science, which was another degree I jumped into without really knowing if I actually wanted to do it, because I just went to the gym at the time. I was into powerlifting, so I was like, oh yeah, I like working out. Let's go into sports science, which is, I feel like a lot of people who study sports science did the exact same thing. And I did that for a bit, and then I decided to drop out and start my own marketing agency, which was a bit of a flop. I wouldn't say it's not a bad idea to do. I think I just didn't have the work ethic, and I didn't work hard enough to start one up, because I was fucking around too much. But I was pretty much unemployed for that bit. I quit my job and I was pretty much unemployed, and I just I was coping. I was like, oh yeah, I'm running a marketing agency, but I was fucking not doing shit. Entrepreneur. I was one of those entrepreneurs that say, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, but yeah, you don't really have much going on. So I was like, fuck.
But you did have a few like interested prospects, right?
Not much. Like I was like trying, but kind of half-assing as well.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I think I would probably give it a go again in the future. But yeah, and then I got into sales. I stopped doing that. Went back to warehousing for a bit, and got into sales.
Yeah. Do you see sales as like a career path that would want to stick pretty good at sticking with this, or still figuring it out? It hasn't been too long.
Yeah. I'm still figuring it out. Like sales is good. It's definitely a skill that I believe everyone can benefit from. Definitely selling and knowing how to talk your way out of different situations and try to sell things. Because especially if I ever want to run my business in the future as well, like every business owner has to know how to sell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Selling is just a skill that I believe that I should have.
Yeah. It builds a lot of business acumen as well, like especially if you're working in the B2B space or corporate sales space. Like you definitely build a lot of business acumen and understand how different functions work together and how they synchronize and what it entails to actually start a business. But would you say you've gained a bit more business acumen since working in B2B?
Yeah,
software
definitely.
sales?
I've definitely learned a lot more about the industry, about a lot more about even different industries as well. Because as you work in sales, you sell to a lot of different industries, especially with what we sell.
Yeah.
And and it's actually taught me I know a lot more suburbs and shit.
Suburbs.
So suburbs and like cities that I probably wouldn't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, you're traveling without traveling.
Yeah, traveling without traveling.
Nice.
Pretty much.
Nice. And that's pretty interesting, man. I agree with what you said, about how every person should learn how to sell. And my journey is a bit funny. I got into sales, I guess, when I was 17, and just after high school, I was working at an electronics, it's a retail electronics store, and yes, sort of just fell into there. I don't even know how the hell I got the job, and learning how to sell from there. And it's a bit of a odd environment. It's people come in asking for a toaster and all that, and you're trying to tell them which one's better, because this one makes better bread and all that stuff. So it's a bit of a weird, but also I guess somewhat meaningful experience, right? It got me into those front lines and selling B2C, and from there I moved to another retail electronics store equivalent and did that for a couple of years, and I was like, nah, I'm sick of this. And I never saw it as a career for myself, because I was going to uni and also at the same time didn't know what I was doing at uni. I changed my degrees a couple of times. I moved over to marketing, Bachelor of Business in Marketing, and I was like, yeah, this is all right. And then I sort of just treated my part-time retail sales job as something just to give me some change while I go through uni. And I was like, yeah, nah, after this I'm not fucking selling. I'm just going to sit behind a computer and just type shit all day and go to an office 9 to 5, as sad as that sounds. And for some reason I've always just found myself falling back into sales. I've just come full circle, right? From there, I did a marketing internship, da da da. Like didn't work out too well. Then just ended up in like B2B, like corporate sales at a few companies, and then now have landed into tech sales. And I think if I had the chance to tell my younger self again on like what to do, I think I'd just tell them to stick to it. Maybe not retail sales, but something else, a bit more B2B. And I think for anyone that's a bit lost out there and it's come to that point of like post high school, or maybe you're sort of doing your final exams in high school and you don't really know what to do. And like I personally, I wouldn't recommend going to uni just yet, because you're just going to rack up a shit ton of debt that I'm still currently paying off. And it's go into sales and then see how you go. You either float or you drown. And if you drown, there's still ways to fucking get back up afloat. And it's very, very helpful career path, and it'll take you like to a lot of different places in life, I reckon.
Do you feel like anyone can get good at sales, or do you reckon it's like you gotta have the personality for it? You've got to be the right person, or if someone's just a bit lost in general, they don't really want to go to uni, would you tell them just go straight to sales, or like what parts of their personality would make it more likely for them to succeed?
I think personality, like, it does matter and also doesn't matter. I think it just really goes down to like the work ethic. Obviously, having a good EQ would help dramatically in that sort of setting, but there are a lot of like introvert salespeople. Like if you talk to them just day to day, they'll just be really reserved in that. But then when they're in a sales call, they're just like guns, and they just know how to follow specific processes, or either they've gone through like desensitization by like exposure therapy, like running the same sales call over and over again, and just knowing sort of like what to say during certain parts of the sales cycle. And as long as you play your cards right, I don't feel like you have to be that extroverted. But obviously, like having good EQ and being a bit more friendly would help, like kickstart you. But as long as you persevere through it, it's definitely something that most people can do.
Yeah, and it's regardless, like it's just still good skills to have, being able to sell. Like if you want to go into entrepreneurship,
absolutely,
and also just in life, like convincing people of things.
Oh, you make me sound like the single person.
Sales.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to take my money away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how. See, if you go to the sales guys, you can ask for $5 and they'll say yes right away. Yeah. So, like, how what's your sort of impression on sales, right? Like, because we see quite often, and we're both sort of like we're both salespeople, and like essentially, if we were to work in the same environment, or if we started a business together, right, you'd be doing the coding, and we would be doing the selling. So like, what are your thoughts about I guess sales in general, and like especially like us explaining to you what we do on a day to day? Like, has your perspective changed since what you initially thought sales was like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like gives me a lot of color to like my impression. Before it was just like, oh yeah, you need salespeople.
Yeah.
Now kind of gives me a better idea of like what the process is like what, from my impression, is required for someone to succeed in sales. So I think it's one of those things where it's one of those like careers where it's like really cool in that you don't really have to be like a bookworm or anything.
Yeah.
Anyone can get into it, and it's really in like your control if you succeed or not. So you can just like get out there and just start like, if you're a gunner and you just like work really hard at it, it seems like somewhere where you can get like really far.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, not too sure.
Yeah, I think also I forgot to mention as well, a big part of sales, right? Like when people say sales, you probably think about like used car salesman or snake oil salesman, and they're just trying to bamboozle you into like buying something, right? But like what sales is just like a communication of value, and how well you communicate it, or like how well you transfer that good energy over. and it's all about solving a problem at the end of the day, right? Like yes, if you're trying to sell snake oil or trying to be a con man, yes, maybe you need to be quite manipulative, but I think in like a B2B sales setting, it's all about solving a problem and providing a solution to what that problem is, and I think that's probably why like I like it as well, because then I do like a bit of a challenge, and when something's not working my way, I do want to try solve it and find ways to rectify it. So yeah, is that the same with you, Ed?
Yeah, pretty much, but I'm not really into sales as much as you are. Like I'm pretty new to the space, and definitely I'm not doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is good to solve a problem, and that's why I like about tech sales as well, because I know the picture of a salesman is always like sleazy. This guy's this guy's trying to sell me something, and also the importance of selling something that you believe in as well.
Conviction.
Yeah, conviction.
Yeah.
Because I know that what we sell is it's a good product.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could bring myself to sell something that I think is like complete shit and it's not worth that amount of money.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I think I know what you'd be really good at selling. Beef mince. This guy eats so much fucking beef mince, bro. It's crazy.
I'd be pretty good at
selling beef mince. Yeah, it's outrageous the amount of beef mince this guy eats, man.
No, I eat a lot of steak. I don't really eat steak. I eat a lot of steak.
True. Yeah. Tell us a bit about that, man. Like what's with the whole like this guy? Obviously, I live with him. He's my brother, and there were times when we go pretty crazy in counting our macros and all that, like trying to bulk up or we'll get shredded and we'll cut weight for certain occasions or competitions and that. But yeah, he does a lot more research than I do in terms of what to put in your body and what not to. And I've seen him go through so many different diets. Tell us a bit about the one that you're on right now. And
I think this is the one I'm going to stick to for the rest of my life, to be honest. But yeah, I've done your standard keto, your fucking low fat, if it fits your macros. Bit controversial, but I would say if it fits your macros it's pretty shit.
Hey man,
it's pretty shit.
Hey man,
look, like you can. I'm a pretty big fan of this guy called Eddie Abu on Instagram, and he talks about eating single ingredient foods because, let's say your standard, what's a high protein snack? A Musashi protein bar. If you look at the ingredients table, it's a fucking periodic table, man. So many ingredients on there, and you don't even know what the fuck 90% of them are. It's like dextrose, antioxidants, whatever.
I know what those are.
Yeah, but you don't know what the hell it does to your body. But these foods like avocado, they've been around, and, like it's naturally grown.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been sticking to. It's been going pretty good. I don't even track my macros anymore. Probably go in gym less than I do before, and I feel like I'm retaining most of the size.
Yeah.
And I feel good. Like I genuinely
So what is your diet?
It's literally just single ingredient foods. So I would either like a egg is just an egg, It doesn't have like antioxidants or anti-aging powder or some shit, whatever it is, and just things like that. So I just eat. Usually my normal day would just be some eggs, maybe some beef for lunch, and then some yogurt and some fruits, and some honey, and then that's like, and I would have like maybe some more protein after I train wrestling or something.
Yeah. But we're not medical professionals, guys.
You don't have to
listen to it. Yeah, exactly. And also bear in mind that Edmund's not like trying to be a bodybuilder or anything. Like he's not trying to be a bodybuilder. Like, so I think. Well, would you say that if you were a bodybuilder, you would probably have to start counting your calories and counting your macros and that?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
But I would still probably eat what I'm eating now.
Oh, yeah,
because I feel like it's pretty good. Like, what do you guys think about this diet? Do you feel like?
I think it's just like so high in fat, bro. Like I don't even know how you stomach it, man. I feel like destroyed afterwards, and I don't know. I can just visually see my arteries clogging up, and also I feel like I wouldn't be able to perform as well, like whether I'm going to run or going to Muay Thai, like I think I'm just pretty dependent, and I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just like this thing that I'm ingraining myself that I need some simple carbs before I go on an intense workout, bro. Like, or else I'm fucked. So I personally wouldn't do it, right? But you know, if there are like a myriad of health benefits that come with it that I don't know of, you know, that could convert me, then maybe I'll look into it. But yeah, man. What about you, Justin?
I think it's interesting. So the rule is basically like kind of whole foods.
Yeah, whole foods.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of like diets like that where it's like psychologically it's like a very simple rule that you kind of follow.
Yeah.
So things like just no white carbs, or like no simple carbs, or I only eat like I don't know, I only eat green food or something like that, or only eat things that grow on trees.
Yeah.
I find that for me those kinds of rules are easier to stick to than like being a bit of a tracking everything. I know it works for it's absolutely going to work if you go to that extent, but I feel like for my own like adherence to the diet, those kinds of rules like work a lot better. So I'll just kind of pick one that kind of will get me in the rough direction of where I want to be going, and then I'll kind of stick to that. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't feel like it's as, because it goes against everything. Like a lot of what I believed like growing up, because for the longest time I was just told, it's all about the macros. You know, it's all about the calories, calories in, calories out.
Yeah,
which is like you will get results with calories in and calories out for sure, but like if you eat pizza every day but you're still hitting your macros, you're gonna feel like shit.
That's
like,
true.
You're not gonna feel good.
That's true. That's true.
So not all I wouldn't say all calories are the same.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because I guess like there's a bunch of other micronutrients that you can get from, let's say, eating a bunch of avocado and that instead of, you know, pepperoni pizza. So exactly. And I think also with if it fits your macros, like I like it because yes, it gives me the freedom to eat, you know, pizzas and bloody donuts and stuff as long as I'm within my caloric intake, and I hit my protein, right, by just slamming a bunch of protein shakes and eating some tuna and that. But I think it's a bit of a slippery slope. I think people can definitely develop, eating disorders from doing that. And I think I had like somewhat of an eating disorder. It wasn't like as serious, but I think I would just feel really like disgusted if I just didn't eat any protein that day. I'm counting, oh my goodness, like I'm just short at 80 grams of protein, man. And I feel myself getting smaller and that, and it's a bit of a slippery slope. And I know that like that, it's probably not as bad compared to some other people, but from what I've heard, like there's been some stories where, you know, people would just starve for the next like 2 days or something because they overate by like, you know, 2,000 calories on a cheat day. So yeah, it's very, very like there's a lot of guys out there, and I guess I'm not actually following a specific one right now, but if I was to follow one, I would probably do it if it's your macros again.
So what do you do now?
Me? I just try to like eat freaking I think it's like the portion size method. Like I try to just eat like enough protein, like just based off my, you know, intuition and my experience of tracking macros. Like, this much protein isn't that, right? But it's probably not the most accurate because, you know, like human beings who have a way of, you know, lying to ourselves sometimes, especially when you want something to be true. Your brain sort of plays tricks on you, right? Like, and then it's probably better to count it. But right now I'm just like, I just can't. So.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably one of the biggest benefits of if it fits your macros, though. Because like you spend so much time actually like getting the raw numbers on like the food, like how many calories, what's the protein and everything. Exactly. So you just kind of build like an intuition for like what the rough numbers are for like whatever you're eating. So I guess you're not trying to get like super shredded right now. So just being roughly in that like wheelhouse is like good enough.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder or anything. I guess like it would be worthy to share like our fitness goals as well, because we have a somewhat similar but also diverse like background in fitness. Oh, actually no, I think it's somewhat similar. But just with me, I'm really just trying to, you know, get better at Muay Thai. and definitely want to fight.
Intimidate people into the sale.
Yes, exactly. Intimidate people, right? Like when I'm trying to close a sale, and they're like, Lawrence, we don't have much money. I'm gonna speak to the CFO. I'll just tell them I'll be right back. Turn the camera off. I'll come back in Muay Thai shorts.
Down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll be in the backyard, and I'll have a banana tree there, and I'll be kicking it down on like bulk out. And yeah, man, that's hopefully if I'm able to gain some. Hopefully, if I'm able to get some more flashy moves in Muay Thai, I'd be able to intimidate them a bit better. So, but in all seriousness, it's just to get better at Muay Thai. Definitely want to fight. I wanted to fight mid this year, but some other things that's definitely not laziness. Prohibited me from fighting mid year, but. Yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list to do a fight, and that's where my fitness goals are. And yeah, what about you guys?
Me personally, for fitness goals, I just want to feel good, Just want to feel good, because I don't want to be, I'm 22 right now, I shouldn't be feeling tired and shit. I should be probably in peak performance right now. I just want to feel good, and I do feel pretty good, I would say, for the most part. But yeah, I just want to feel good, and I do want to compete in a lot of grappling competitions. So me and Lawrence are very, very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
Because like
Natural enemies.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
I think it's just because I fell into grappling first, and I just ended up sticking to it.
Yeah, true. And I think if we ever were to fight someone, it'll have to be a 2-on-1, Yeah, because I don't know, man. They might know wrestling, bro. They might ankle pick me or something. Right, so I need to have him on speed dial, bro, just in case.
Technique.
Yeah.
How about you, Justin?
I think pretty similar to you. So right now, fitness goal is not too focused on it. I just want to feel good. I feel like exercise really helps my mental. In that, just getting good sweat out really helps me reset how I'm feeling, kind of de-stresses me and everything. My main hobby is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so like to get my reps in, hang out with people, get in some rolls. But right now I'm pretty diversified in terms of what kind of fitness hobbies I have. So still pretty into dance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just trying to have fun with it. So nothing, no six packs incoming.
Yeah. Since we're talking about hobbies, what other hobbies do we have that's not fighting?
That's not combat sports. Me. Oh, good question. Now you make me seem like a boring guy. I was pretty into chess for a bit, for the past couple of months, right? And then I was, spending a lot of time on chess.com. But that was a hobby of mine, I guess. I would play with my girlfriend a lot. And other than that, man, fuck, that seems so boring now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry I did this to you, bro.
Yeah, man. Fuck. Yeah, let's just say chess for now.
Chess and Muay Thai.
Chess and Muay Thai, man.
I'm pretty big into reading. Reading, singing.
Singing.
I did singing lessons for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly, I was still pretty shit at that point. But what got me good at singing was actually setting up a karaoke machine at home. And now I don't even care about doing drills or whatever. I'm just going to sing. Yeah. So I just sing every day, and then now I'm just I'm a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So cooking as well. I like to cook
yeah.
a little bit, try something new.
Yeah.
When I go out to a restaurant, and really like a dish, try and make it at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me.
So you say has your singing improved a lot?
It has.
Yeah.
It genuinely has.
Fuck, I don't know about that, bro. I saw you at karaoke not long ago.
You're lying, bro. We haven't been to karaoke in years. We should though.
We should, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Me personally, I dabbled into public speaking a bit because just wanted to get better at speaking in front of a crowd. Because I know a lot of the time, especially in high school, I would always fucking dread the speaking ones, and that would always be my lowest marked ones because I'm not talking loud enough. But yeah, and also I was into I played chess for a long time, and I would say I'm pretty decent at chess.
A lot better than me.
I have a 1,000 rating on chess.com, which is, I don't know, I genuinely don't know how good that is compared to a lot of standards. Apparently the average on chess.com is 1.2, so I'm below average, supposedly. And what else do I do? Oh, table tennis. I used to play a lot of table tennis because of work. My old job, I played a lot of fucking table tennis.
My work was done.
I probably, I think I probably scored more points than I did cause. No, 100% I did. 100% I probably, yeah.
Previous job, right? Not
previous job. Like in a
Just to
day,
clarify.
I think towards the end of I think I was probably playing more table tennis games in a day than like a whole game, like a whole set of 21 than I did fucking course.
You know what's pretty funny? You guys work at the same company.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that's kind of, it's quite funny.
Yeah, it's quite funny, actually.
How'd that happen?
So, how did that happen?
Do you want me to explain?
I'll let you explain, actually.
It's more of your story.
Yeah, it's more of your story, man.
Yeah, so, I'm not gonna disrespect my old company because it was, they're the ones that started everything. Like without them, I wouldn't have got this role, and they were kind enough to open their arms and take me in. But yeah, so how it happened was I was working there for a bit, and it was alright. It was alright until an acquisition happened, and that just turned everything to shit. Because like it wasn't good for my growth because we were selling to much bigger accounts, didn't have as many accounts to talk to, and just didn't have enough reps to put in. Could be cope, but that's just how I saw it. So I wanted to join a different company, and I liked my current company's product better, so I could sell with a lot more conviction, which I do now. And so I interviewed for it, and I got in.
Current company?
Current company.
Yeah, so
you
like
left out a big part of it, bro. What the fuck?
Well, what did I leave out?
That I referred
Oh
to
yeah,
you.
you referred me in. Yeah, sorry, you referred me in.
I'm very curious so was it like you asked Lawrence, or was it like Lawrence was like, come work with me, bro?
No, Lawrence was actually like, because he just got promoted,
Yeah.
and one of his colleagues just quit, right?
Yeah.
And there was no one in that position, so they opened up 2 slots, and then he told me, hey, do you want to get a shot, bro?
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, I think my first response was like, probably not, because I thought the acquisition was going to be good for my growth. And then I was like, nah, probably not, like, because this thing. And then over time, I was like, bro, is that application still open?
Yeah.
I didn't get out of this place.
Yeah.
So then he referred me.
So basically, Lawrence moved up, and then they got Lawrence version 2.
Yeah,
like,
there's
a lot of like exactly that same hole.
Lawrence 2.0.
Lawrence
2.0. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like, how are you finding like working with your brother?
No, it's good. It's good. It's definitely. I reckon if Lawrence wasn't there, my growth I wouldn't have learned as much as I did now.
Wow.
Because it's good to have someone to lean onto, especially because it's pretty hard since we work fully remote, so we don't actually have an office, and it's pretty hard. Like I don't want to be like, hey, bro, can we call real quick and I need to sort this out. It's just easy to just have someone next to me and just be like, hey, what does this do? And it just answers right away.
Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting, because then like when you were applying through the process, like the final decision maker of whether you get the job or not, like he's asked me, our vice president, he asked me that, hey Lawrence, so mate, how do you feel about working with your brother? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I feel alright. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know, just in case you had second thoughts because family and stuff and business. So. And then I was like, it was starting to make me think. I was like, oh my god, what could go wrong and stuff. But I was like, fuck it, bro. Like, if it does go wrong, it goes wrong, bro. But and then we started it, and then you've been working with me for what, like 3 months now? Close to 3 months? Close to 3 months, and it's been pretty good, having my younger brother there, and like, providing him the guidance and also telling him about like any mistakes that I did in his role, so he can be proactive about it and not make those mistakes. But also sometimes, like, I don't mind letting him make those mistakes if it's not going to affect him dramatically. So that way he learns. That way he learns a bit better. experiencing it opposed to just having someone tell you what to avoid, right? So yeah, it's pretty good, and I think like it wasn't a easy journey for you, right? To get into like the tech sales.
It wasn't an easy journey. Like I didn't. It was like something I thought of, but never really. It didn't interest me too much because I was like, I always thought that sales not for me. Like I won't be able to talk to this many people and shit because because for the longest time I was pretty introverted. I still am a bit introverted, but I was like extremely introverted like back then. But then so I never thought I was gonna take this role on, but I don't regret doing it. Which is good.
Yeah, like there was a time when you were just applying constantly. Getting rejections and all that shit, and I'm glad like you persevered through it. You found something that got your foot in the door, and then now it'll be a lot easier for the future and all that. Yeah, sure. Exactly right. So and also I think to piggyback off that as well, like while you were applying for these places, I guess it was a very there was a lot of change in your life as well, because you also went to Thailand. We also went to Thailand, trained for a month as well. Like we'll probably get into that later on down in a future episode about that, and we will start talking a bit more about traveling and how that could sort of help you gain a new perspective on life. But there was definitely a lot of change when you were applying for that job. So.
Dropping a trailer for a future episode.
Yeah, exactly right. So we definitely want to talk about all the things that has helped us, and it might not seem like much, right? Like traveling and stuff. It sounds like something that you should do when you sort of have that money and you're set on life and you've got your career all set up for you. Then you're like, okay, now it's time to travel. Go see Europe, but I feel like it's a very sometimes trips can be a very pivotal moment of people's lives, because you just experience so much and you just change your perspective on things. Or sometimes for the worse, but hopefully for the good for most people. And we'll probably dive into that in the future as well. And
good episode.
How are you doing for time?
That's time to wrap.
If none of this made any sense, then I'm sorry you had to listen to a whole hour of us just jibber-jabbering. But what we hope you guys gain from this is that not everyone's perfect, and hopefully we might be a little bit ahead of where you guys are now in life, and to give you a realistic expectation on what you can achieve, and there's no specific road that you have to go towards for success. There's multiple ways around it, and I hope you gained a bit about what next steps you would want to do what next steps you want to take in your life. But I know we've only just scratched the surface today, and we'll be going into more detail about stuff in future episodes, and we'll try to bring in some experts to dive a bit more on specific topics, right? So any signing off?
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Right. I think I think it was a pretty good episode. But
true.
Nothing else I want to say.
Well, thanks for listening to Backdoor Banter. Cheers.